So if you can't hear it already, the draft is now starting on up.
I love it when they grunt when they get banned. It's my favorite part of the game.
Damn it. All right, well, let's see actually who is banned out. As we get ready to hop in, we'll see our first pick, as it is going to be game number 2 of Secret taking on Invictus Gaming. Boom! Summit 3 by Gigabyte.
Well, there's the Chen and Io ban, both of which were in the last game, but for each respective team. Gyro, going to be the consistent ban throughout the tournament, I think. I forget who I was talking to yesterday, but they brought some good points. Gyro, obviously, the change to Rocket Barrage is pretty big with no cast time, no cast point. But in addition, a lot of the heroes that are good against Gyro got nerfed, and that's probably the bigger deal overall, right? Was it you? I don't remember who it was.
I think.
Shout out to whoever that was.
I still think the Rocket Barrage buff is a bigger deal than that, but it's as the secondary part that's really important. Wow, Secret have the same idea as you do. All right, Brew is going to be the solution here for IG, so they're not going to get it. That's a Visage opener. And they don't take it. They get Quap. I wouldn't be surprised to see Secret grab Visage for Kuro. He's a very, very...
If they get Visage with the second pick available to them as well, do they get Drow right off the bat, or is this too early?
It's a lot of information to give, but under the right circumstances, you can definitely get away with it. I think Quap is a great pick in general against Drow. Very easily gets up close and personal, bursts a hell of a lot early, but Secret don't care, it seems. So.
There it is. Big boys on campus. Broodmother, very early pick for IG. All right.
And a quick pick.
So Axe is pretty much 100% going to get banned here for IG.
Who else is really good against? Cloud9 yesterday. That was a mistake.
Yes.
And then they picked Lone Druid. That was a mistake.
Who else is good against... Okay, Darkseer, another decent one.
That's true.
Lane, 1v1. So.
I think he's actually the second best counter to Brood in lane. My top list of heroes that counter Brood in lane, X absolutely number 1, Darkseer number 2, I think Tide is 3rd and Sand King 4th, or vice versa on those two.
Where's Kunkka? Top 10?
37th.
Top 3rd? 37th. Okay.
What about Coddle?
It's quite an exact.
It's pretty good.
That's not too bad. Coddle's not too bad. You need some levels, so that's the problem.
He kind of... Brood puts a web at the trees and then just spams him out of lane with spawn spiderlings. I think Coddle gets destroyed.
It is pretty terrible. I've done it myself. I always think like, well, I got blast, it'll be fine. No, I get my ass beat. That's what happens.
Well, I would like to see from Team Secret what I talked about last time, which is the minus armor strat in addition to Drought. So if they get something like an Initiator, like Bristle, like last time, which might get banned as well, but I think Axe pretty much has to get banned here for IG. Since Zai hero has not been picked up. But something like a Slardar on S4 I would love to see in this game. But a lot of times we see Drow Visage. The games end pretty early because the push is so ridiculous. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around, but...
And how would they lane the Slardar is the question. Then he has to either... They could put Arteezy mid on Drow, but I don't think that's a good matchup against Queen of Pain. Or they could put Slardar mid. That's definitely not a good matchup against Queen of Pain. So Slardar has its merits. It's really great against Brood. Like you said, it's awesome together with the Drow Visage combo, but I honestly think Secret don't need anything like that. They will run 4 or 5 ranged heroes. I think they might consider a Batrider for Zai if the Axe does get banned, and just try to take advantage of the bonus damage from the aura to give a little bit better of a laning stage, and then they have a way of catching Quap in the mid game.
Can you tell me what's happened to Centaur? It's so saddening.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
The patch came out in the first week. Everybody picked him, got Ags. It was great. Everybody loved it. Like, this is a great hero. It's perfectly balanced. He's not overpowered at all. Of course, a lot of people were saying he was overpowered. I'm just saying that because he's an awesome hero. And now we don't see him at all. Why?
I don't know. They're saving strats for TI5.
I hope so. That'd be great. Well, Viper's going to be banned for IG, so... Well, who gets the next... So, Secret gets the first pick out of the second phase. I don't think there's any way they're not taking Axe here.
There is, but I... So when IG don't ban it, they obviously have a plan. The question is if their plan is good enough. Like, if they get the Brood versus Axe lane, which Brood simply cannot possibly win, then they either do 2-1-2, so they can beat the Axe lane with Brood +1, or they need a tri-lane that beats this tri-lane, which I don't think they can find.
There's the Puppy Dazzle, though.
Yeah, I got you. You called that.
And it's good against Brood as well, with the Shadow Wave.
Yeah, if the spiders are farming the wave, they can get blown up, that's true.
But it's not enough, and they're going to get axed themselves. All right. And that's, of course, a counter in itself to Dazzle, so...
Not a counter to Visage anymore, though. It used to counter the familiars very well, but of course Counter Helix no longer damages the birds.
I was overhearing yesterday, so you guys were saying Flat Cannon does still hit.
Flat Cannon works, but it's not supposed to.
Yeah, according to the Dota Wikipedia, there was a specific patch that in that special instance, the cannon should not work on familiar, but apparently they still do.
I think that... So what we talked about yesterday was that, well, we're talking about in a game where Gyro's banned, but Flat Cannon was changed so it didn't work, and it correctly didn't work. But now with the rechange to Visage Familiars that gives them a certain number of hits, it somehow works again. I think that was the
question is, does it work against Undying Zombies?
It does, and it's supposed to.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's fine. Do you know if Medusa Split Shot works against birds? I think it should as well, right?
I think it does. I'm 50-50 on this one, so I'm going to go with I think it does.
That's a really good counter now, because it used to be pretty okay against birds in the early game. Now it's really good.
But is Medusa something you can go for when all these games seem to be ending so damn fast?
No, that's another thing. Like, she's not a good pick right now, so I guess the teams don't really mind so much when they get their Visage.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen Burning do some serious turnarounds with a Medusa, but not in this kind of a game. But look,
a Cloud9 hero.
Okay.
Bone 7's not in the game.
They want a solution to the Brood. So there's, I think, one thing that's often overlooked when you look at the matchup in isolation, Brood versus LC. I still don't think Legion is as good against Brood as Axe or Darkseer, but come to think of it, maybe she's actually better than both Tide and Sand King. So what's really good for LC is that, obviously, the obvious counter is you have overwhelming odds against Spiderlings, right? You kill off all the spiders very easily. But the secondary counter is what Brood will do in most matchups is, can I outpush the hero with Spiderlings? If yes, I spawn a lot of Spiderlings. Can I not do that if then I spam them in the face until they have to run back? But LC has press the attack. So you can actually just skill build to counter the Brood by getting a build that's probably going to be like 4-4-1-1, where you get 1 point Moment of Courage, and then you can actually self-sustain, especially with the new Moment of Courage that heals as much as it does. It's actually very difficult. And Brood also can't win the fist fight with her ult on, because LC's probably still stronger in that one too. So, in all aspects, a very nice counter pick.
What do you think about the Aghanim spot on Legion Commander, the perma-duel till death? I think it's not something we're going to practically see unless it's absolutely luxury or in
It's probably the most hilarious
pub.
Ags upgrade.
It's one of the funniest and hands down the worst ever. Ags upgrade.
Ever.
Not worst in terms of it's a bad idea
no, Brian,
or whatever.
It's bad, Brian.
But it's not good.
Brian, it's bad.
Brian thinks roaming Dragon Knight is good.
So we did a 3-hour patch analysis.
His opinion is irrelevant.
We did a 3-hour patch analysis before, and Synderen spent literally 1 hour talking about how much the Ags on LC was bad. So
yeah, I watched that video. Yeah,
it's really entertaining.
You were really
Thanks,
angry.
Synderen.
Sorry about ruining your day, Coddle Guy.
I loved every minute. Except
so nice
that hour. All right, well, we're looking at Invictus Gaming here. They have pretty big commitments in their Axe and their Brood. They got their Ferrari Queen of Pain. Where are the supports, gentlemen? We need them. And they're thinking damn hard about it. Shadow Demon.
Good way of dealing with duel.
Oh, yeah.
Can, of course, just disrupt either the dueler or the duelee.
Duelee.
But not really that good of a hero against Secret Strategy, I feel. It's great against... I feel like IG were just like, we need a hero, right? We need a support, we have to pick something, and we don't want to use all our time now. So Shadow Demon seems okay, but he doesn't tend to deal so well with this kind of mid-game, heavy push. He's more of a skirmisher early, ganking with a secondary support.
We're seeing a Storm here.
And then very good at countering specific carries in the mid-late game, but he doesn't really counter Drow. Most of the time you see Demonic Purge being really good against kiteable melee heroes, but Drow has pretty good range. I think Storm is a great suggestion for Team Secret.
Well, late game, not that it's going to get to late game per se, but the illusions from Disruption, pretty good with Drow, right? Chikiro!
What?
Holy jeez!
I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
My goodness.
That's new.
So is that... This is a core Chikiro?
Yes.
Pretty much guaranteed.
For S4 and mid, I think.
S4 mid Chikiro, wow. So I was expecting a Storm or something like that, but... Definitely throwing out a loop.
Yeah, this feels like one of those things that they just went into their back pocket, pulled it on out, and went, what do you think about that?
They went, we want to push you guys in 20 minutes again, and this time we have a draft that's tailored for it once more, even without our Chen. So Lina's going to be the second support.
Okay,
for
well, there's
IG.
the setup with Disruption at least. That's
Decent partner here. I'm really curious to see this Jakiro matchup, because generally Jakiro versus Quap will be heavily Quap favored, has longer range, has better damage. Liquid Fire is not good on the low levels, but starts getting really good at level 3 and 4.
Yep.
But there's the wild card in the Drow Aura that tends to have a pretty big effect on the laning stage. So maybe S4 can get away with it here.
Well, you do have a couple gap closers for Drow in the Axe, and technically Brood, and to some degree, obviously, Queen of Pain. If this is a tri-lane Axe Shadow Demon Lina, that's going to be exciting. Is that what's going to happen here? I would love to see that.
And then they put Brood 1-on-1 against LC in their own safe lane.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
So aggro try with Axe Shadow Demon Lina.
Very high very high risk, high reward.
Do it. Okay, my stomach, come on. I need a better angle.
Wobble.
Thank goodness they didn't get me. I had my feet up behind my ears.
It's pretty hot, not gonna lie, bro. Alright, before we get any more sexual here, let's go over the lineups. For IG, we have Luo playing the Broodmother Faith on Shadow Demon, which is Purge's favorite hero, by the way. He's been basically what you guys are for Coddle. Purge is for the Purger,
Yeah,
Shadow Demon.
he was creaming over it.
Burning's going to be playing the Axe.
Oh, man.
Ferrari
My
on the
goodness.
Queen of Pain, and last but not least, Chuan on Lina.
And for Team Secret, S4 will be playing the Jakiro as expected. Puppy onto the Dazzle. We've got Arteezy Drow and Kuro on his Visage, and then finally that does leave Zai on the LC as expected. I think, like, if you look at how this laning phase is going to pan out, if IG go for this aggressive tri-lane with Axe, if that lane fails, they're actually screwed. Like, that's how important. We talk about many times how tri versus tri lane matchups can like have a really big impact on the game. If one team wins, it's not one hero that loses the lane, but it's 3. But
And you would be going up
are we going
against...
to get these lanes, though, is the question.
I mean, Visage and Dazzle are amazing in tri-lanes. Drow, I wouldn't say is that great, but considering you have 2 supports like that, ends up being really... Especially if you can hit level 6 eventually, but... Yeah, it would be risky, no doubt about it.
It is match point for Secret. They win this, they move on. IG lose this one. They're not eliminated, but they do get shoved down in that lower bracket. As action does begin, just quick shout-outs to Wepas, who's going to be doing our OBS locally, and of course we got Knoxville, as you can see, who's going to be providing our in-game stats.
Awesome.
Wow, Kuro has played Visage 73 times. Yeah, this is
surprised
actually
by
really... It's really interesting to see the stats with some very trademark heroes and some very not trademark heroes. First game for Zai on LC, ever.
Who do you think plays a better Visage, Kuro or Aoi?
Yes.
That's the safe answer.
Very good.
So
At
it's
least you
gotta
won't
be
be
Drow
wrong this
Quap.
time, right?
Interesting.
Well,
They
it's
put
gonna-
Drow versus
okay.
Quap. Aggressive trialing with
Wow.
Jakiro. And then LC is going to have an awful lane. But once again, maybe Secret are okay with this trade-off. Getting Zai to be sacrificial this
Yeah,
time.
so Faith and Chuan, right now they're just roaming a bit. I mean, if they leave Axe versus Legion Commander, who do you take in that match? If it's a 1v1, let's say.
Axe. He beats every melee here in the game.
There's got to be one.
Oh,
that he does.
Darkseer can creep skip and stuff like that, and then they don't
Darkseer's
actually
pretty
fight. But I don't think LC can beat an Axe in lane. She can do better than most melee heroes, I guess, but she should still lose.
All right, overall, the way the lanes are set up, it's going to be probably a... I mean, Secret's going to be pushing, but who needs to switch things up here? Zai is going to take a stun after the disruption. Not going to be a kill, though. And Secret getting extremely aggressive on the tower with that level 1 liquid fire doing work that fortifies forced out pretty much right away. Which team does this benefit, these lanes?
Secret, I think.
So do you think IG needs to switch this up immediately? Put Brood bottom?
I don't know if they need to do it immediately, but they need to get something done with their supports. Looks like
Oh wow,
will
they
be doing
really want
exactly-
Zai.
Ooh,
Chuan
Zai's
gonna block him off. Oh wait, never mind. Just gonna
Slippery.
let him pass. He gets the stun off. Faith. Disruption is available. Burning wants to block him in with this Berserker's Call, and here we go. This might be the first blood. Zai taking a lot of damage. Another LSA to come, and first blood goes the way of IG. They are on the board first. And who got that? That was Shadow Demon, actually.
Yeah, Faith picks it up. Nice opportunity to get the call with the creeps nearby, getting those extra spins. And they already know that Secret are busy trying to get this tower as fast as possible top, so no one's going to be rotating, so they're free to dive and do as they please.
Want to look a little bit at the mid lane. Actually, seems pretty even right now between Arteezy and Ferrari, as that tower will inevitably go down up here. Arteezy sitting on 10 and 2, and Ferrari 10 and 4. So considering that Arteezy has only had to use one tango in this mid lane so far, he's doing a really good job, and as a result, I think IG, they realized this is not going according to plan. They were probably expecting maybe their co-op to win a little bit more. They obviously can't see the CS, but you generally have a feeling.
Yeah.
But Arteezy's mid lane Drow, he is very, very good at playing this hero in this position. And
now we're seeing a lot of Drows completely skip over ice arrows. Now we saw a lot during the Red Bull. Maybe one value point. I never got the chance to actually find out the legitimacy behind that. What is it? That is it just not worth it? It's better just go more into the stats. You don't really need the extra benefit of slowing them down, or.
I think a lot of the strategies revolving around Drow are forcing the enemy team into fighting you by hitting towers. And the Frost Arrows obviously do nothing. And then when the fight breaks out, the enemy team will commit onto the Drow anyway. And then her Frost Arrows don't really matter when they're on top of you, then it's just about surviving. And then the stats give you that extra bit of health that can make a difference. In addition to, of course, helping him last hit in lane, he acknowledges the fact that he can't beat a co-op in lane in terms of harassing her out of lane, so why skill the Frost Arrows when you can maybe get a couple of extra last hits with the extra 4 damage from 2 stat points?
We're going to have rotation from IG, looking to stop this push. Disruption onto S4 into an LSA. Seeing Luo do a little bit of damage to S4. He's going to have to back off, though, because the damage is absolutely ridiculous with the soul assumption from Kuroki and whatnot. Ferrari, they're trying to go for S4. They're going to get the kill one way or another. The deny will not be there. Queen of Pain getting the last hit there, and Kuroki on the run.
That was pretty funny. There were like 3 heroes completely mistiming the last hit there.
Ferrari has blinks. It's one of the longest blinks in the game. He's just going to TP, though.
Yeah.
Back to mid lane, where Arteezy will be going for this this top illusion rune.
So 1-for-1 trade. Secret with a tower advantage. Still looking pretty good. And of course, with IG rotating their supports, as I think they had to, this does open up for Zai to get some good experience. He's still losing the lane quite heavily, of course, against Axe, but...
S4 rotating to bottom now. Liquid fired upon burning. Looks like they just want to go for this tier 1. They're just going to set things up, and not sure if they're going to put Zai in a different lane or just going to continue to push with them. When you're playing we don't see LC very often. Like we talked about, a lot of times we see it on Cloud9, and honestly, the win percentage is pretty damn low overall. But in this case, of course, it was picked against the Brood. You go for Blink right off the bat with LC. Because we have Disruption mid, trying to block things off with the illusions. Arteezy taking a lot of damage. Looks like he's going to fall. And down he goes again to the Shadow Demon. So 2 kills for that bad boy.
It's so important for IG that these rotations work. If these ganks fail and Arteezy just gets to farm, Secret's game plan will be coming together very quickly. So just disrupting them a little bit here in the early game is key. It also opens up the map a lot. They forced the TP out from the Dazzle, who was there too late, so they get some information out of that, and of course might be able to now go for a kill in the top lane, knowing that he can't be there if they want to try for that. Of course, ultimately they could also just have the Brood up here one-on-one. To answer your question about Legion, I don't know if Blink first is the right call here. I think maybe Zai wants to tank up a little bit, maybe looking for treads.
Disruption bottom again into Soulcatcher, burning with the call. S4. Oh, LSA will miss, but it might not matter. Graves going to save him, at least for now. Burning on the run, taking the liquid fire.
Too. What a disaster.
Big turnaround for Secret, and Chuan on the run, taking a soul assumption. A couple more right clicks will take him out, and that's a 2 for nothing. And S4 lives on the Jakiro.
Those are the kind of mistakes that tend to be game deciding. That was just all-out mechanical misplay, very rare from IG, and instead of just getting what would have been a kill, they die too. This is like the worst kind of thing that can happen. They missed the Light Strike Array after Berserker's Call, and they missed the Calling Blade, which is their counter to Dazzle's Grave, so very uncharacteristic. And like Caudle talked about in the last game, are they just having a bad day, a little bit tilt mode or nervous? I don't know. They're a very experienced team, shouldn't really be nervous even going up against such a strong opponent. But
in the hotbit interview with Chuan seemed pretty confident that they would get their revenge and they would be the ones to upset Secret here. But
well, of course, this isn't an elimination series, so they'll have another chance if they end up going out. But of course, off to a slow start in this game, but still could come back, obviously. They have... How's their comeback potential, IG's lineup? Not that they're that far behind, but...
They don't really have very good late game.
No. Arteezy taking a Shadow Strike. Sonic Wave going to try to deny himself. Not going to happen.
Oof.
Got excited for nothing.
Typical.
Yep, typical.
Right.
Zai in the meantime, taking some harassment from Luo.
He's actually in trouble.
He's going to try to go for the TP. He doesn't even have mana
mana
for anything. He's going to eat his way out. Oh, actually, he might get out. All right. Man at the last second.
Yep. close call, but does get out. IG coming back. I don't know. I don't feel like they're losing. I think they're ahead right now. I guess the net worth graph is like almost 0 right now. It feels that way. The distribution of gold between the heroes, yeah, seems okay for them for now. The problem is their lineup really doesn't scale that well into late game. Quap tends to fall off. She goes utility items. Can get a refresher if you really want to deal a lot of damage, of course, but ultimately heroes like Drow will outscale her. And then who's your carry on IG? They have Burning on an Axe, and they have Luo on a Brood. And Brood late game is... I don't know what Brood's win rate is on games that go beyond 45 minutes, but I feel like it's got to be pretty low. Like, generally pick it for the early game domination and then taking the base.
Well, incapacitating bite is no longer an orb effect, so, you know, you can get that death.
Holy shit, the damage from Zai.
Zai is going to give up damage to Ferrari.
I think he would have won that duel if he dueled Luo. He dueled the hero that had way more health than the other one, and... A little bit of a mistake there from Zai. That's Ferrari. All right, he's going to be a carry now. He got 10 damage.
Yep. Well, I mean, Quap is decent late game, too. You can build her into a semi-carry.
You need to be very careful with not losing duels to Ferrari. If he loses 1 or 2 more duels to him, he could actually... That could encourage him to turn into a carry build even more. And it is true, Quap has decent stat games to consider going for a semi-carry build, and it might be the game plan for IG. I think they will have to do that. But then the question is, do they have enough control when if she doesn't go for an Orchid Hex path? I think she will take one of those items at least, though. So, yeah, they probably have enough.
Well, Secret's going to be happy with this Tier 1 bot and look to continue onto the Tier 2. Zai, in the meantime, taking more harassment damage. Shadow Strike. Doesn't look like Luo wants to help with this. He's pretty low. Going to go for the tower first. Now Zai on the run. Getting slowed a bit. Ferrari doesn't have much mana to speak of, though. He's going to take a Brood. Oh, is that going to be enough? Unbelievable. I didn't think that was enough damage, but just enough.
Ferrari 420, man. He's moving up that list. 4.6k. He got that tower. He got that kill. He got the previous kill. Got the bonus damage.
He's very rich now.
Coming up roses here for Ferrari.
Interesting net worth distribution. It looks funny. Like, the 3 cores of IG are on top, and then their 2 supports are completely bottom of the barrel. Actually... a fairly significant amount behind. Both of their supports about 600 gold behind their respective counterparts in Secret. So,
well, we talked about this at the very beginning of the game. Of course, once Kuroki hits 6, which is right now, his birds come out with the Drow aura. It's going to start hurting even more. I mean, they've already taken 2 towers. Look for them to get a lot more done in the very near future with that combination.
And you want to push forward, but Luo's finally starting to find a bit of a groove here now on his Brood where he can take control in this top lane, and there's going to have to be someone from Secret to keep it in check, and for the last couple of times Zai's been stuck on that watch duty and he's been punished for it, so it might not be easy now for Secret to kind of move on forward with getting more objectives unless they can maybe take a team fight.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult for them for now. X just got his blink minute 10.
Yeah. And they're going to smoke up right off the bat, too. So Faith and Burning looking for a kill. Tranquil's going to heal up Burning. Kuroki and Arteezy better be careful. Burning with the blink comes in, going for Arteezy. And a Sonic Wave sure and sure the kill. And even the Culling Blade is popped for the death. And Kuroki will be the second one to go. And unfortunately for Secret, they're getting mauled over now. S4 came in for TP support, Soul Catcher. There's the Culling Blade counter to the grave yet again coming into play. And with that speed boost, which is probably arguably one of the more important parts of that skill, allows him to get away safely. So 3 for nothing for IG.
Man, when you shallow grave a target who's almost dead, it almost is like amplified, like calling this guy right here. Yeah, that's the one downside. Yeah, this is the guy you want to get with that ultimate. But
well, this comes back to the. I'm not going to get to the. I don't want to get too deep into this, but they did pick the Dazzle before the Axe, when Axe was still available against Brood. I mean, if this ends up going into IG favor, you have to consider that perhaps a mistake in the drafting phase. But then again, if you get Dazzle with Brood, that's a pretty dirty combination too for IG.
I think most teams don't really... I can't remember the last time I've seen that played. It's kind of gimmicky, and it doesn't even counter Axe that well, if that was the lane they were thinking about, because with Berserker's Call you have so much armor that Shadow Wave doesn't really deal much damage. Ferrari
taking a gust.
Holy crap, they're dealing a lot of damage with that aura.
Couldn't get the stun off with the Visage Familiar, but gonna go for this tier 1.
He's going Axe first. Interesting.
On Visage?
On the Quap, so he wants to fight early.
Yeah, so the cooldown was at 40-second cooldown at with the Ag. His Escort is going to get initiated upon after using his ult. And down he goes to the Laguna Blade. Burning saved by the disruption. Might be in some trouble, though. And down he'll go to the Soul Assumption. So it's a 1 for 2 in the end. Or is it the end? Ferrari looking for some more. 30-second cooldown with Sonic Wave. Meanwhile, top lane, Zai getting chased by Luo, who's going to think better of it as he gets dusted. Arteezy a little bit too late to the party. And Luo will be fine.
They got their tier 1 mid lane.
Oh,
they got a couple
Ferrari.
kills. They could get more. Ferrari.
Doesn't have blink for
Can he get the
4
stun?
seconds.
Nope, too far, but Soul Assumption is not going to be enough. He was bottling along the way. Very close, but no cigar.
And did Arteezy... He actually had his aura ready. I'm wondering if they could have killed that with the aura used for the bird. And a couple of right clicks there. Well, there was only one bird right now. Probably wouldn't have been enough here.
I mean, that's another thing to keep in mind. Somebody like Kuroki playing this Visage, he's going to find this farm one way or another. I mean, it's a really easier to get farm on, considering it's support. I mean, I would argue as a 4-role, probably the best farming hero for Kuroki. As Barney's going to initiate onto Puppey, and another easy kill going the way of IG. So once they get the Ag Scepter onto Visage, perhaps that's... I don't know, is that going to be enough? I mean, right now it's snowballing in IG's favor, ever so slightly.
Yeah, Secret will probably try to just slow down the game a bit and farm, but it's definitely the... I want to say it's the most important item for Secret to get in this game is going to be that Ags on Kuro. And I think IG knows it, and they'll try to shut down the Visage here. He does get a medallion first, and a lot of information being gained here by the little spiderlings. Is it going to be enough to turn it? I don't know. It's a really big advantage now. I wonder how big an advantage is this? Is this like 4K? Just all right, only 2 actually, because their supports are still really low on gold. So maybe not that as bad as it looks on the scoreboard for Secret.
Well, Axe working towards his Vanguard, and I'm sure into Crimson Guard, which is going to be amazing against Visage and Drow and everybody else that right-clicks. Well, technically speaking, everybody's going to right-click this range on Secret just because of the Drow Ranger. As there is a smoke now by Secret into the Roche pit.
Quick, get in the Roche pit.
During Red Bull, did you guys have to be quiet during Roches? How did that work?
Well, I think it wasn't like put out there as like guys, make sure you do this. We kind of just had that vow, like, okay, it's just common. It's being blasted over PA. You know, it's loud. There's a lot of noises.
Yeah.
Try not to be too suspicious about it, but you can't really control the hype of the crowd. When they see the smoke, they tend to get pretty happy.
Yes, smoke.
Yeah.
It's not the smoke, I don't know, but
Like, ooh.
been missing out on level 1 Roches. I missed those, man. Those were fun.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, they
Did
did
you guys notice how quickly they killed Roche, by the way?
Yeah, I couldn't even finish my thought.
It's absolutely insane how good their lineup is for it. Shadow Wave with Medallion with the birds, so you always have multiple targets.
Yeah.
And of course the Drow for every
Arteezy taking LSA and a Sonic Wave. A Laguna Blade will finish off the Legion Commander. Calling Blade takes care of the Aegis, but back will come Arteezy. Ferrari stuck in the midst of a bunch of birds will drop as a result. It's a 1-for-1, not including the Aegis. But the Ancient stack was taken out for the most by Secret as buyback now on Zai. Looking for some defense against...
Oh, well, that's not that much gold when he bought back.
That's right, it's 40%, right? Kuroki getting initiated upon LSA to follow. And Culling Blade is available. He's not quite low enough. The Urn, will it be enough to get him low?
He could duck him now.
He's doing work everywhere.
Oh, nice heal. The last second from Puppey's going to put that bad boy on cooldown. Kuroki slowing, burning a little bit more. Gets Grave, and somehow they find the kill.
What level is Burning? Is he 10 or 11 on Axe? He's 10, yeah.
Oh,
He actually timed the dunk as the best he could. He couldn't have dunked earlier, and then that heal from Puppey was actually just perfect. That's pretty incredible. Was that a 4-for-1 fight? And then they bought back the Legion. They killed everyone, yeah.
Well, including Aegis as well.
Yeah.
How big of a difference... I brought this up earlier. Actually, the dust... Ooh, just out of range. How big of a difference do you think the no orb effect comes into play for Brood? We talked about it in theory before. Now we're not seeing it in practice yet, but possibilities for... And we talked about Desolator being a possibility because it's good for pushing.
it is cheaper now.
Yeah.
That's true. 300 recipe as opposed to 900. How big of a difference does that make for Brood in a realistic manner or outlook?
I don't know, what other orbs would be good for Brood? Doesn't really have great attack speeds, it can't really benefit that much from it. Maelstrom, Mjolnir, Scotty's, I don't know.
Everybody loves Scotty.
I don't think it's that important. I think the Deso is the best pickup, and it makes him an even better split pusher. But that's pretty much it, I guess. It could have an impact on this game with how much pressure Luo can put if he goes down that route. Well, I still think if that's the approach you take with Brood, I still think Necrobook is more value for your money. Anyway, but you could get both, I guess.
I was expecting for a while that we would see Broods even pick up something like a Diffusal Blade, help with the slow. You can purge off a dust, but not something many of them really consider. And
Sure, the defensive purge is pretty cool for Brood.
Yeah,
it's very true.
But Necro and Orchid and
Jabroki taking a call. LSA Sonic Wave.
Whoa. They certainly got their revenge there. Whoa.
That's a lot of spells, no doubt about it. Top lane, there we have a dual Zai taking a lot of damage. He might go down, and another dual loss, this time to Luo, who will apply all his pressure to Arteezy. He's going to get a double kill if he's not careful. And with the Shadow Demon help, should be enough. And things not looking good for Secret now as S4 gets the Ice Path Macropyre only onto one. He takes a Laguna Blade to the back of the head, and that's 4 dead in favor of IG, and Puppey gonna be the last to fall. That dunk will finish him off. It's a team wipe. IG looking completely different in this game.
Can we get... how many... Did they win a duel yet?
No, I think he's 0 for 2.
He's lost 2 duels, and this one that... Was the one that expired, or did he just... Yeah, he's got to be 0 for 2, right?
I only remember 2.
So Brood has won a duel, Klopp has won a duel, and that's it. That's... Zai is really not having his best game here. It's also difficult, I think. I mean, but still, that kind of a duel... I don't know.
It felt like it was obvious to set it up. He wasn't going to win that one-on-one. He was holding him there for Drow to show up and help finish off Luo, but I guess they just didn't anticipate the power that Luo had with himself and his Broodlings, and they just quickly flipped the script.
Well, on top of the team wipe, they're going to get an Ancient stack. They got the Tier 2 mid. The Tier 3 top is almost dead. Don't think it's deniable quite yet.
Oh, this graph
and IG getting a lot out of this.
Yeah, this is a dip. Woo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's looking good for them.
This is a good recovery. Good recovery for IG.
It's looking good for them. Yes, they just got a lot out of this game. Queen of Pain did have the Ags, by the way, for the past 5 minutes or so. I don't know if you mentioned that.
You're my worst friend, Shan.
I know. I'm sorry.
Luo has worst acquaintance.
5K. What does he buy here? What's the best? I mean, he has basically nothing, right? Yeah. Like as far as like core items.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
It's a hodgepodge, as you said before.
Yes, he's like a walking thrift store.
Necro 3 just seems like a really solid choice. It's a way for... He can more or less guarantee that Jakiro takes the last will damage.
We have Yules into Macropyre, Ice Path as well. Gust will connect, and it's going to be enough to take out Faith, but that's all for Faith. I hear a duel. Hear the bongos coming. Nobody's going to win this one. They do get the kill, but no damage goes the way of Zai, and that was about half a second too late.
It's still... It's very important for Zai, first of all, that he gets a little bit of momentum and that he didn't give damage away. For once. Even though he doesn't get it himself, at the very least it wasn't a lost duel. He gets a little bit of a... He probably gets... Like, mentally, it's good to get a little bit of recovery there and making a good play. It's gonna hopefully for him propel him a bit forward in the game.
Well, knowing that the duel is down, it's going to be a free tower for Luo. Yeah, he's going to be a pesky little spider in this top lane. Tier 2 was taken out, though.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of what I said before. Secret want to move forward, get these objectives, but you got someone like Luo over there. Someone's got to be there to take care of it, and you really have to second-guess where your commitments will lie in that moment. One drastic pullback, and you miss out on big opportunities. If you decide to stay and push on forward, you know, you better hope you get a lot out of it, because you could look back at your home base, and there might not be much there.
They got 2/3 of that Tier 3, right? Or half. Yeah, almost 2/3. That's actually pretty good for Secret. Considering how far behind they were, getting 2 kills and almost a Tier 3 there, including they also got the Tier 2, right? First. They got a hell of a lot out of those kills.
Well, as far down as Secret is right now, it's one of the... It's like having a tiny Wisp. Just give them a little bit of space, they'll take out your entire racks, even if they're down 10k gold. It's something you have to worry about. And this is going to be 5-on-4 for the most part. Brood doesn't want to fight, he just wants to split push the bottom lane, or top lane.
And we haven't been talking so much about the item progression on IG supports, because they used to be poor. We talked about it in the early game. Chuan now, Yules, half an Ags, the Shadow Demon of Faith, closing in on a 4-staff. And in addition to that, you've got Burning. His next item, I think, is coming up now on the Axe as well. Should be a BKB fairly shortly. I do believe, unless he wants to take a Halberd route, which is actually kind of nice against Secret's heroes, to be honest. Halberd, very good item against Drow, good item against LC. But I'm guessing it's going to be the BKB so you can avoid the bird stun, soul assumption, all the damage of Jakiro. Really a great item against that hero.
Looks like Butterfly was the choice for Luo.
Just one shot of butter.
Well, he did have 7k gold, essentially, so I would hope he'd spend it on something.
What to buy? What to
He could...
buy?
what's that item? What's the new one that you can eat? Not a mango.
The Moonshard.
Moonshard, yeah.
You can eat not mango.
Not mango. Yules on an illusion.
All right, they realize that their smoke didn't break.
But they
This
gave
is
away that they were
information.
smoked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And IG weren't in the neighborhood anyway. They're looking to push bottom, but they need to be careful not to lose territory in the mid lane here. Do they have Glyph on IG? Else they might be too late. They don't. They gotta get back here real fast. It's gonna be Burning, porting first. And, okay, multiple ports.
They're going. Defensive weave already out. They're committing for this. This is the peaking window right now for your typical Visage Drow lineup, that 20 to 30 minute mark.
Burning jumps in on the puppy. We have a Zai duel on Chuan, but there's a disruption. The nice counter. Axe does die, buys back into the game. Laguna Blade. Not enough damage taken away, but in fact, the Lina is the one that died. Fade taking a ton of damage from Kuroki. Only one buyback to come out from IG. Like we said, it was the Axe. I believe that was a gem taken out. Rangetrax, finally, Luo comes to the rescue in the mid lane at his own base. Stunned a little bit too late from Visage. And Secret's going to go back. Pretty much happy with that exchange. Although they did give up the Rangetrax. That's not that big of a deal in the end.
If they don't lose the melee here, I think it's a very ballsy play, and I think they did it knowing how far behind they are. If they just sit around and wait, they're probably going to lose the game unless they can, like, if they can find some sort of meaningful farm and just stay. Let's say they stay 5 to 7.5k behind or something, then 10 or 15 minutes down the road, they might have a shot at fighting IG like that. But they just realize it's going to be a 4 and 5. Root doesn't really want to TP back, isn't strong enough in fights yet, perhaps, and they get a pretty good trade out of that. I think even sacrificing, the next step for them might be trading racks, and I think they should do that. Giving the top melee for a melee mid, for example, would probably be worth it.
You got to remember, those racks are worth a lot of money now.
Yeah.
I think they've been buffed up 2 times straight in the last couple of patches, and, you know, being able to get that could be that one step to come right back into the game economy-wise. So you can just kind of feel the pressure that Secret want to get the most out of this opportunity.
Speaking of economy, Kuro got the item that we were talking about. The most important item for Secret just picked up the Ags.
The Ags!
Minute 24. Considering, like, if you looked at how the game was going, this is actually a really good timing for the Visage. And now the question is, where does he go from here? Do you think Solar Crest is the choice?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's really good. The evasion, even for a hero like Visage, is actually, even though you're support, the evasion for yourself is great to have. Although, looking over IG's lineup, they're all about the burst, more or less, from spells for now.
Well, Arteezy did pick up BKB as well on the Drow Ranger, and I believe Burning is fairly close to his BKB. In addition, how's the BKB going to work out for Arteezy this game? I mean, the call goes through, Sonic Wave goes through.
Laguna will go through eventually.
Yeah, Laguna very soon will go through.
How far away is he from that? He's 1,500. I think he has one component on the courier, or is he flat? He might be flat 2k.
Just 3k then. No, 3k.
Broodling. This is a really big fight that's going to happen right now.
Oh. You heard it here first. A big fight's about to occur. Thanks, Cinder, for the inside. Burning jumps in on Arteezy. It's going to be enough to take him out before anything happens. He pops his BKB, though, trying to create some space so he can get that damage. Faith goes down to Zai, who finally gets his first duel win of the game. Actually, maybe that's the second one. Luo, in the meantime, trying to finish off the Dazzle, but he gets four-stepped on top of the cliff, and 4 dead for IG, and this is going to be a free rush for Secret.
See, it was a big fight. Thanks, smartass.
I agree with you. I was agreeing with you in a sarcastic manner.
I know. You just
are the worst. Huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Wow. 5k swing. Really important thing about this fight, Quap did not have mana. It actually broke out, and Ferrari was out of mana for his ult from the start of the fight, and it's a really big part of how they secure kills. They need to find a kill early in the fight with Sonic Wave, preferably on the Drow, so the aura disappears, and they actually had no business going there. It's understandable that they don't want to give away this Roshan against this kind of lineup, but with no mana on Quap, that fight is so unlikely to come out as an IG victory.
This Rax is going to go down so fast. And here's the duel with double damage from Zai. Disruption going to pretty much counter the right off the bat. He's going to get enough. He's going to get the kill, but it's not enough for the damage. However, Ferrari getting initiated upon. Graves going to save Zai. The dive continues, and look at this damage from Secret. Unbelievable. They're going to take out this Rax pretty much no problem, and just like that, they're back in this game, if not leading. One Roche fight. There's the Yules. Ice Path with the Visage Familiar stunned on top. Soul Assumption finishes off the Queen of Pain, and Secret's going to be quite happy with that. He's going to attempt to fall back. Should be fine.
Very nice gust from Arteezy there as well, preventing Axe from going for the counter initiate with a blink call. This game
they just continue on the tier 3
got
bot.
out of hand for IG. They were looking pretty good, but
Yeah,
wow.
that's pretty dramatic right there.
And it's not, I think IG's lineup is just not as strong as Secret's at all with a 0 gold difference at this point. Like, Brute is not a strong hero at this point in time for fighting.
No, Arteezy still has the Aegis. Keep in mind, S4 initiated upon. He's going to be the first to fall. Quap died as well. Bought back. Zai in the meantime trying to get a damage thing. No, he's the winner again for Ferrari. But how much is that going to matter? Arteezy on the run with the BKB still has the Aegis in stow. That's 3 dead for Secret. He's going to attempt to TP out, but the disruption is there. They should be able to clean him up twice.
All right,
Caster curse.
I was
Caster
the words out of mouth.
curse, dude. You did it.
Easiest caster curse of my life. I
Meanwhile,
don't think
top
IG
lane,
can win with 0
top
gold
lane for
difference.
Secret. The creeps might get this actual wreck. Is this possible? Zai buys back.
Problem.
All right, he's going to save it. Cardi the catapult, not going to be enough damage though.
That's a 5k swing again. Wow. All right.
I don't think Lua was
Thank you,
top lane
Synderen,
at all.
for the
Right?
analysis. You're welcome, guys.
That was just all creeps.
Just doing my best to help you out.
You're the best, Synderen. Don't be so hard on
Understanding.
yourself. Just because you're the worst doesn't mean you're the worst.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice. Really nice.
Gerg is the worst. We know that.
All right,
That's
plus
true.
1. Yeah.
What do you think about Puppy not going for Greaves? Because he went Treads instead of Arcane Boots. Do you guys feel the same way as me that Greaves are ridiculously good?
Yeah.
Like ridiculously good.
But they're not that good against IG's lineup, which is a lot more about magical than physical damage. But I still think it could prove
I guess
very
that should,
useful.
like with the Culling, like I'm thinking like the passive effects, you get a bunch of armor and HP regen when you get low, but then there's the Culling Blade, of course,
Yeah.
that can counter that.
There's a Solar Crest.
You got drums now.
You got drums. It's a nice value pickup especially after the buff with a little more attack speed on the active. It's great to have one of in your team, and it seems like these days core heroes don't really like getting drums, so getting it even this late, like 30 minutes in, it might seem really counterintuitive to get such an item such as drums, but the way these fights are happening might be the most cost-effective pickup you can get. Maybe second to a Vlad's. I don't know if they have one, because if they don't, I would have liked to see that.
Oh, Arteezy. Oh, no, it's Burning. He's going to initiate with the BKB onto S4, LSA, and Laguna Blade, and Culling Blade. Used to take out that poor Jakiro. Meantime, Arteezy pops the BKB himself. Sonic Wave will go to 3. Lua on the run with the BKB activated as well. Here comes the counter initiation. Burning yet again on top of Arteezy. The Grave isn't going to be enough. They're going to take out the axe before he can Culling Blade. Chuan goes down as well. It's a 3-for-1 with the 1 buyback from Secret. Ferrari looks to be fine, as the Legion Commander has the Blade Mail.
That was really interesting. Arteezy, did his Shadow Blade, ran right past the IG lineup, looked to come from behind, got the quick silence onto Ferrari, took him out of the fight, but it was just Burning and the rest of the IG squad that jumped into the backliners of Secret and, well, did a lot of work, but they ended up turning it around, and now look at this. They are now back inside the IG base, and they quickly are going to be able to clear out this Rax if nothing is done about it.
Well, they fall back for now. Burning bought back again. This is his second buyback, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to initiate upon Puppy, but there's the Yules. Sonic Wave again up. Zai gets the duel off. Is this going to be enough damage to get anybody with the damage? Burning will fall. That's the buyback down, and Brood will fall. Damage doesn't go anybody's way, but it doesn't really matter. The death is all that matters here, and the Rax looks to be Secrets again. Second lane of Rax, no buyback for Burning. Do they just go for Megas? There's a tier 2 top still. They could just go for Throne, perhaps.
It's possible they could try to Throne this.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of big abilities for IG that are down for a little bit. I guess Sonic Wave will be available soon, as they are looking to try for the tier 4. So this
God,
could
this
backfire,
is
but
disgusting.
no axe for 40 seconds. I was surprised IG actually initiated on that. They had like 15 seconds to go before they had a 5-on-5. They initiated into a 3-on-5 there with the buyback from Axe, and just took a fight with lower numbers, which again seems
Here we have perhaps the last stand for IG as Zai looking for a duel, but the Yules will counter him. Chuan available, doesn't even bother. He's just going to get the kill the old-fashioned way. Luo, in the meantime, going upon Arteezy. There's the duel to finish off the Spider. Arteezy graved, and this looks to be the end of IG in this first series. Secret going to take this 2-0, and this game was back and forth. This is what we were waiting for, this game.
Man, such a close game, and still 32 minutes.
It was a close game.
I mean, yeah, this is the first game we've had in the tournament that wasn't... Am I right? Yeah, this is the first game in the tournament so far that wasn't ridiculously one-sided. Yeah. It's still a 32-minute GG, but that's just the way Secret's lineup was composed. This is what can happen if they get any sort of comeback at this point in time. And I think IG are going to be... they're going to be really disappointed with this game because they actually played a good early game. They had the tools, and then they took a couple of bad fights, simply just bad decision-making in a couple of situations, and Secret get out way ahead then.
They get their win. They'll be advancing forward in the upper bracket. IG not eliminated from this loss in this series. They just get shoved down to that lower bracket.